A short take from Premiere Magazine. All the controversy surrounding the John Belushi biopic Wired has not seemed to tie up the movie's star, Michael Chiklis. In between turning down Belushi-esque film roles, this newcomer has been doing TV time on the likes of Miami Vice.
This is the first edition of Persona Magazine, a new tabloid-style monthly soon to be found at your supermarket checkout counter. But don't look to it for light reading or any kind of reading for that matter. Persona will be on videotape.
In this issue of Persona, David Hasselhoff gets back into the swim of things with a new series and a new career.
Video magazines have not fared well in the past, but Persona's creator points out that previous failures can be attributed to poor marketing, which treated them like videos instead of magazines.
Essentially, we're distributed as a magazine, we're positioned as a magazine, and we are distributed by a magazine distributor. We are positioned probably more closely with People magazine, which is my background, where I come from, and maybe a cross between Entertainment Tonight and the Barbara Walters interview.
Persona is now available in more than 6,000 supermarkets, bookstores, and mini-marts in Colorado and Indiana, with plans for a national rollout by February.
They will be at the supermarket checkouts, drugstore, drug chains, discount stores, all at the checkout.
Persona boasts more than 70 minutes of celebrity interviews, movie previews, and 20 minutes of commercials. And although the cover price of $4.95 makes it nearly 5 times as expensive as People, the tape is reusable, so consumers are actually getting a pretty good deal.
Eventually there will be international editions as well. Because Persona translates in every language.
If consumers embrace the video magazine format the way Jakovich hopes, Persona could mark the beginning of a new trend in publishing.
Television as the star of Baywatch, a new series.
This week on Review Roundup.
You think I'm full of... Don't you, John?
I think you're going to prison, Walter.
You don't know where I'm going.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's a joke, Sarge. It's a joke.
The Package stars Gene Hackman, Joanna Cassidy, and Tommy Lee Jones in a suspense thriller about a conspiracy to assassinate a world leader on the eve of a nuclear disarmament treaty. Hackman is Sergeant Johnny Gallagher, assigned to transport a court-martialed soldier played by Tommy Lee Jones back to the United States from West Berlin. When Jones escapes, he leads Hackman on a trail of espionage and murder.
Personally, I think I should blow your brains out the back of your head. What do you think?
The Package gets its title from Vietnam War slang and refers to a prisoner being transported. Director Andrew Davis, best known for making action movies like Above the Law and Code of Silence, utilized his hometown Chicago in making this film. Davis took advantage of the city's visual versatility, using various Chicago locales to double for East and West Berlin, as well as for Washington, D.C. and Virginia.
We're okay. What do you mean you're okay? There's a dead body here, huh?
Now, here's what some critics are saying about The Package. Director Andrew Davis is adept at action scenes, and in contrasting what seems to be the inevitability of the assassination with Gallagher's awkward attempts at preventing it. Eleanor O'Sullivan, Asbury Park Press. There is some fun here, if you just want an excuse to visit an air-conditioned theater. Jones, who never caught on as a romantic lead, makes an entertaining hitman, a moral burnout with a streak of gallows humor. David Edelstein, New York Post. As paranoid thrillers go, The Package manages to commit both of the genre's primary sins. It's at once nearly incomprehensible and totally predictable. Dave Kerr, Chicago Tribune.
We're in separate armies, you know that, pal?
That's what some critics are saying about The Package. Get the word on the latest movie releases each week on Review Roundup.
I don't give up. I'm a little bit of a pit bull with myself. You know, something's bothering me about the work and where I feel I want to be in the business. I just, you know, latch on to something. I don't let go till it gets better. And I've always had that survivor feeling. You know, when Memories of Me didn't do well, that hurt a lot because I liked that movie a great deal, and I think it's a good movie, and it got hurt you know, and I took it personally. But made me work harder and better, and I would look at it and see what I didn't like in my performance, and would try to work harder, and the next movie is When Harry Met Sally. So I'm better in this. You know, you just have to keep re-examining yourself and always think that one thing is a step towards the next one.
There are many kinds of love.
But there are none that can compare to the love a mother has for her child.
Do you disapprove of what Mr. Cutter did?
Still seeing this man?
Do you disapprove of what you did?
Seem to be attacking.
You haven't done anything wrong.
These judges are very conservative. Diane Keaton, The Good Mother. Premiering Friday on the Movie Channel. The Movie Channel makes it easy to shift your VCR into maximum overdrive, because now you can record movies every night with no promotional interruptions on VCR Overnight. Friday, tape Joe Bob Briggs All-Night Drive-In, starting with Stephen King's Silver Bullet at 1 a.m. Midnight Central, followed by Picasso Trigger and Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's the easiest way ever to feed your machine a nightly dose of movies. VCR Overnight. Tape while you sleep, then watch when you want.
Here's another way to take advantage of the Movie Channel. TMC's Top Attraction Schedule. Each weekend, the Movie Channel schedules its top premiere movie of the week, the top attraction, at 3 different times. Friday night at 11:10 Central, Saturday night at 9:08 Central, and Sunday evening at 7:06 Central. So you can choose the evening and time that's most convenient, and be assured that you'll never miss the pick hit of the week. Top premiere movies, scheduled like a multiplex theater, so it fits your lifestyle and viewing habits. That's the Movie Channel advantage.
Hi, I'm Robert Osborne for the Movie Channel. This week, Hollywood expects more people to have their eyes on their local video stores and on big screens in theaters. It's the week Walt Disney's Bambi shows up for sale on home video for the very first time. That is expected to become one of the largest VHS sellers ever. Also on September 28th, the 50th anniversary edition of Gone with the Wind, newly remastered and restored, will also be for sale on VHS. And of course, on its heels, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, not to mention, of course, Batman due in November. I'm Robert Osborne for the Movie Channel.
The film is big, and the location, FAO Schwartz, the world's largest toy store. Last summer, it was closed to the public for several days while these scenes were being shot. These scenes were shot in a fully functioning office, with the cast and crew working around everyone else. But how do you go into someone's home for days on end and ask them to make the same accommodation? Ahmed Nassari, who owns what was to become Tom Hanks' loft in the film, quickly found out.
They said, don't worry about a thing, just, we want your space. We don't want you around, just leave.
And that's exactly what Nassari did every day for almost 2 weeks, as his home was transformed into a very large playroom.
John, see? Just this. That's how it is. That's how it's done. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Anybody can do this.
They basically used the entire floor, and it took an incredible amount of time to set things up. I never realized that to do a shot for like 10 seconds, it takes 10 hours to set the camera and the lights and the sound and everything else. That was my biggest shock.
Another shock was having a 24-hour-a-day guard on duty to protect the set.
I would get out of my bedroom and walk down, and there was this guard sitting down there, and I didn't know how to cope with him.
What Nassari could easily cope with was playing host to all of his friends' kids for several days after the shooting ended.
There were 4 or 5 kids, basically the age of 4 or 5, who suddenly ended up in this amazing toy store where they could play with whatever they wanted to do. And I remember one of them, called Christopher, who walked in here, looked at all of the toys, and ran towards me saying, thank you, Mr. Macy's.
The party's gonna start. Please don't let him do that!
Bon appetit! Better buckle up.
Yes, you have heard about this movie. You've seen the ads. Read about it in magazines. And maybe even caught a TV interview.
I think the worst thing is probably having to be a bit of an apologist, a spokesman defending the horror industry.
But who creates all this hoopla around a film? In this case, blame it on Allison Emilio and Cynthia Parsons from New Line Cinema.
You need to know that the film is out there, that the public knows it's out there, and publicity is one of the fastest and cheapest ways to have that happen.
Create a store, create a noise, create awareness, want to see, highlight to a specific audience.
This creative churn is what challenges publicists Allison and Cynthia. It's a lot of work.
The first step is really to get press onto the set while the film is in production. From that point, we work closely with a unit photographer. We want to develop a press kit. We want great-looking artwork, which the magazines will use. And then we want electronic footage, which can be incorporated into what's called an electronic press kit. That is used primarily by television stations who either can't afford the time or the money spent to go on the set. Prior to the film's release, we develop a press tour, obviously trying to get the big TV shows and the bigger magazines and newspapers to do interviews with the star.
But stars aren't the only ones tapped to sell a film.
We toured David Miller, the makeup artist, to different conventions so that they could talk about the film. You send out materials to the fans, and you get the buzz going at the, in sort of your core audience level. On A Nightmare on Elm Street, we are doing a series of broadcast promotions, national broadcast promotions, which are not unusual. We often do them with MTV, Telemundo, BET, Black Entertainment Television, and for A Nightmare on Elm Street, we're lucky because we always have such great soundtrack partners and musical partners.
We're the rap group Houdini. And yo, baby, I'm Schoolie D. BET, New Line Cinemas, Jive RCA, help me out, fellas, presents BET, Freddy's Nightmare Content.
I think it's easy to publicize this film because everybody knows Freddy. He's a cultural icon, so everybody knows who he is immediately. It's the 5th installment, so maybe people aren't interested to see it. However, the script is very clever, the character is very clever, and we already have a built-in audience. So we know already that there's people that want to see this film.
And how does Freddie or Robert Englund feel about all this promotional assistance?
I'm really happy to help launch it.
Yes, sometimes even Freddie can use a helping hand.
I suppose, actually, a film that really got me was seeing Jailhouse Rock with Elvis. I had 2 older brothers, and so they really turned me on to a lot of different kinds of music, one of which was the Elvis music. And when I saw Elvis in Jailhouse Rock, this combination of music and theatrics and a guy who had such charisma, I mean, as presumptuous as it was, I was like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, gets a good combination, theater and Elvis Presley, right?
FBI Special Agent Warren Stanton always gets his man.
You really think he'd kill any more of those people? Jump. Jump!
Yes, I do.
Tom Berenger, Kirstie Alley, Sidney Poitier.
I'm gonna pull the trigger!
Shoot to Kill. Coming soon on the Movie Channel.
Magical. Mystical. Musical. Michael. The undisputed new king of pop and rock, megastar Michael Jackson, is about to take you on a journey beyond your imagination.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
Premiere today on the Movie Channel.
Some more TMC news. Michelle Pfeiffer, the man actress, the screenshot in the Russian house. They'll be spending 6 to 8 weeks in the Soviet Union to land on location in Leningrad and Moscow.
For most, winning the grand prize at the prestigious Cannes Film Festival and garnering rave reviews from around the world is something they can only dream of. For Steven Soderbergh, the 26-year-old director of Sex, Lies, and Videotape, his dream is reality, and this is only his first film.
strange feeling. And, you know, I completely checked out mentally. And you the award, and you're standing there in front of hundreds of photographers, and they're making that noise, kind of like in The Right Stuff, you know, that kind of clicking, predatory noise. And then they whisk you off and put you on live French television. You know, and obviously I don't speak French, so it was very confusing, and I had this headset on that wasn't working too well. So the questions are being translated, and my head's kind of rolling around because I'm trying to get a good reception. Some kind of a Stevie Wonder thing going on. It was just crazy. People fighting to take my picture, which is just a strange thing. You know, why would you? The idea of somebody, you know, elbowing another guy to get a better picture of me is just really crazy.
Like most overnight success stories in Hollywood, this one was 8 years in the making.
You're under fire today.
Yes. You can go now.
My perceptions of Hollywood had been based, like many people's perceptions of Hollywood, on what I'd read, what I'd seen on television, what I'd seen in the movies. And I went out there with the most tenuous of contacts. I had a contact to meet the ex-wife of a somewhat known but not well-known filmmaker who lived in some town south of San Francisco. This was my entree into the film industry.
When the gates of Hollywood did not exactly swing wide open for Soderbergh, he returned home to Baton Rouge. But there were those that recognized that the very young, very eager director had talent.
Well, I'm 26 years old, but I don't understand why that should be of particular interest. Maybe it looks different from the outside. I've been trying to make a feature film and make it in the film business since 1980 when I was 17. So for me, this has been what is now, you know, what was, when we started shooting, an 8-year process. But I had my film training in high school where most people would have had it in college. So I had a 4-year head start. So in theory, I'm more, I guess, I consider myself to be, in terms of other filmmakers, you know, more in that age, like maybe 30, 31. And so when people say, gosh, 26, it doesn't occur to me that that should be unique.
Steven Soderbergh, director of Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
By every scientific measure, they are absolutely the same.
You mean to say there's 2 of them? They're twins, dear. Doctor, I think there's something wrong with you.
Patients are getting strange. Radical technology was required.
Jeremy Irons, Jean-Pierre Bujold, Dead Ringers. Premiering on the Sunday Star movie. Some people are having a hard time believing that Eric's new best friend is...
Creature from outer space?
Right.
What is the reindeer? There he is!
It's a down-to-earth alien adventure with Mac and Me. Coming soon on the Movie Channel.